Welcome to episode 15 of Swiss Army Sports. I'm your host and only host today, Will Spain, former long snapper for the Troy Trojans, Osby Governors, Houston Cougars, etc. My co-host Luke Wallman had some prior engagements he had to get to, and producer could not fill in, so we're riding solo on this beautiful Sunday evening. Here we have our Week 8 recap of college football. It was a crazy weekend in college football. We have a lot to get into. The panic meter back for Week 8. Of course, we got our dogs of the week for Week 8. Our Swiss Army Sports Top 25 with an updated header, Coaching Carousel picks for me. NFL Week 7 recap and the NFL Teams of the Week and Teams That Are Weak, and actually not included in the agenda. We got my first ever NFL Power Rankings, our top 5 power rankings of the NFL. We got our Monday Night Football preview and best bets. UFC Fight Night Vancouver picks did not go well, but we'll go over it. The Dodgers win in the NLCS. Who will join them in the World Series? That is tonight, currently going on, the Blue Jays and the Mariners. I will try to take a pick on what I think is going to happen there and give a little bit of a preview on what I believe will happen in the World Series. And that best of the weekend for me. So let's just, dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen, on this solo episode. College football picks of the week. I was the only one coming in on a losing record. Boys did good. I went 5-2. Luke 4-3. Michael with an astounding 6-1. Starting off with the Holy War, I went with Utah. Luke and Michael with BYU. Man, that was an incredible game. BYU pretty much had it handily, won 24-14. Utah scores late with about a minute, closer to 2 minutes, but not, like a minute 50-something left. And that touchdown by Bear Bachmeier to put BYU up 24-14 was really the dagger in the heart for the Utah Utes. On the road at BYU, again, late touchdown by Utah. No timeouts left, though. Had to get the onside kick. Goes off the guy's leg, recovered by BYU, thus ending the Holy War in favor of the Cougs. And BYU, they're legit this year. As you'll see, we have reflected in our rankings. BYU is somewhat of a Big 12 contender now. Did not think we predicted this at the beginning of the year, but got to give respect BYU's way. LSU headed to Nashville to face the Vanderbilt Commodores, and as we all three saw it, the Vandy Commodores got it done at home 31-24. I felt like the scoreline did not reflect how the game went. Thought this was easily handled by Vanderbilt the entire way. Very happy with what I saw from that Vanderbilt team, improving to 6-1. This is a legit Vanderbilt team, like I said. That defensive front is elite. They have a good secondary, not elite, but good secondary. But their offense, that spread option offense with Diego Pavia at the helm, has given teams issues, and LSU's defense was not enough to overcome their lack of offense in a 31-24 victory. A lot of people said, if you look on Twitter, that Vanderbilt, oh my God, they can't score 27 on LSU. You know what? Yeah, they did. 31, buddy, as the Doors get it done against the Tigers of LSU. Ole Miss headed into Athens, Georgia. Me and the producer went with Georgia. Luke with Ole Miss, and me and the producer were correct. Ole Miss led at half. Led in the third quarter, but Georgia was able to get the lead, win by 9, and cover. Ole Miss kind of crumbled towards the end. Trinidad Sean Bliss had a decent game, but more impressed with how Gunnar Stockton was able to rally that Georgia team and come back and win. And honestly, it was really the Georgia defense. I mean, they hadn't really stepped up the entire game. Ended up stepping up at the end of the game. 43-35 win for Georgia over the Rebels. Mississippi State headed to Florida and lost in the most brutal way possible. All three of us went with Mississippi State. All three of us were wrong. Look, Mississippi State had a chance to win that game. They had gotten themselves in position to win that football game. They lost 23-21. Around the 30-yard line, fourth quarter, time ticking down under a minute. All you had to do was run the ball, set up Kyle Ferry for a field goal. But no, Jeff Levy decided to run with a pass, a little outlet, was picked off by the defensive lineman and won by Florida. And even with a win, Billy Napier gets the can, but we'll talk about that in a second. What for the producer about this game? It's been a rough year. Heartbroken a lot this year as a State fan. Although the season has been tough. At least I'm not an Auburn fan, and we will get into that game for sure. UNLV headed to Boise State. Me and the producer had Boise State. Luke with UNLV, and Boise State rolled. As I anticipated, this UNLV team was 6-0, but not exactly the powerhouse that maybe some thought they were. I thought it was a pretty weak 6-0. They could have lost a couple of those games. Not exactly the strongest strength of schedule. And Boise State, looking like the Mountain West title contender, title winner that I thought they were going to be originally, as they handled UNLV very, very easily. UNLV had kept it close up until about midway through the third quarter. Boise State able to pull it out though and win. Tennessee headed to Bryant-Denny Stadium, played Alabama the third Saturday in October, and boy, was it just too much. Tied for the Vols 37-20. Alabama laying the hammer down on the Tennessee Volunteers. Really impressed with how Ty Simpson has come to form for this Alabama team. Joey Aguilar throwing that pick six at the end of the first half. Crucial for Tennessee in the outcome, although it ended up being a 17-point deficit. I felt like that was definitely a huge momentum swing towards Alabama's favor. Tennessee really could have cut the lead to like 2 there, but Bama wins by 17 and keeps it rolling for the Tide. And finally, with all three of us getting it right, USC headed to Notre Dame. The Irish get it done 34-24 as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish improved to 5-2. A huge win. It was a huge win for playoff implications for Notre Dame playing against USC. This is pretty much the last potential ranked, and USC's not ranked anymore, but potentially ranked win for the Irish to get it done. And they did, and it was a huge home victory for CJ Carr and the boys. So, look, it was a great weekend of college football. As we get into the picks leaderboard, Michael, being last most of the year, takes the lead 30-24. Luke sitting in second at 28-26, and I am in last at 27-27. So kind of darting across the rest of the scoreboard, at least for the ranked games. Miami losing to Louisville. Carson Beck with 4 interceptions, played horribly. Louisville able to take advantage, win 24-21 on the road. Minnesota handed it to Nebraska 24-6 in a game. Dylan Raiola couldn't get it going for the Nebraska Cornhusker offense. Completely non-existent there. Missouri beats Auburn in double overtime 23-17. Both kickers missed field goals. One from 50 for Auburn, one from 38 for Missouri to push it into second overtime. Missouri able to get a touchdown, and fittingly, Jackson Arnold sacked to lose the game. Memphis, the Tigers. I said they were frauds, and I think I was 100% correct on that assessment. When you go and lose to a backup quarterback at UAB, I understand their starting quarterback got hurt, but 31-24, the UAB Blazers defeat the Memphis Tigers. I knew this Memphis team wasn't that good, and it was a matter of time before they fell. I didn't think it would be against UAB, though. I thought it was going to be next week against USF. I now think they get throttled by USF. Memphis didn't really have anything the entire game that really showed that they were a playoff contending team, and UAB able to take advantage of that first game without Trent Dilfer. Now at 3-4, this was a really bad loss for Memphis. This is going to hurt Memphis in the long run as a program, I think, losing to UAB in this fashion. Brutal for the Tigers. Houston took care of Arizona 31-28. Go Cougs. Troy 37-14. Kind of submit themselves as a potential Sun Belt title winner, contender at least. With a win on the road against UL Monroe handily. Ohio State dominates Wisconsin on the road 34-0. Indiana wins 38-13 at home against Michigan State. Texas A&M. Woo! They survive. They survive on the road against Arkansas 45-42. Man, I thought and again, it was really a 10-point lead. Arkansas scored late in the game. But I thought Arkansas had a chance, and they did. And the Hogs gave them all they can get. I mean, you got to remember, that's such a good offense for Arkansas. Such an elite offense with Taylor Green at the helm. Patriots got those boys rolling. I wonder if they'll keep them. I have another prediction for who I think is going to fill the slot, but they could. Arizona State beats a backup quarterback up Texas Tech 26-22. They kept it close, but Arizona State able to squeeze it out. Oregon railroads Rutgers 56-10 in a blowout. Georgia Tech keeps it going against Duke on the road 27-18. Oklahoma the same against South Carolina 26-7. Virginia in a close one against Washington State 22-20 survives a scare at home from Wazoo. And Wazoo is back-to-back weeks now. Ole Miss and now Virginia This Washington State team is not as bad as people thought. Not that 59-10 loss to North Texas bad that we had originally anticipated Washington State to be after that game. They've got some fight in them, and good to see it, from one of the original or remaining Pac-12 members. USF handles rival Florida Atlantic at home 48-13. Texas survives in overtime after Kentucky could not convert on 4th and goal. In overtime, Texas kicks a field goal to win it 16-13. Cincinnati goes on the road and handles Oklahoma State 49-17 to keep it rolling for the Cats, who now sit at 6-1. Michigan, Big Ten win at home against Washington 24-7, kept Washington at bay the entire time. Really impressed with this Michigan defense as they head deeper into their season. TCU gets a home win against Baylor, who came storming back in the fourth quarter, but able to hold them off 42-36. Big win for the Horned Frogs as, man, Sawyer Robertson doing all he can do for this Baylor offense. Just their defense is not getting them any stops. Tulane beats Army 24-17. Northwestern beats Purdue 19-0. SMU goes on the road to beat Clemson 35-24. And I believe, notably, Iowa beat Penn State 25-24 to knock Penn State to 3-4. Iowa improves to 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten. UCLA keeping it rolling, 3 wins in a row for the Bruins, 20-17. They improved to 3-4, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Maryland falls to 4-3. Hawaii's bowl eligible, 6-2, 3-1 in the Mountain West. They go on the road and defeat Colorado State, which gets Coach Norvell of Colorado State fired, 31-19. Pittsburgh 5-2 now after beating Syracuse 30-13. And I believe one of the storylines of the night, Florida State drops to 3-4. They are 0-4 in the ACC after taking down Alabama to start the year. They lose to Stanford. Stanford on the road, 34-2. They're 3-4 and 2 in the ACC, 20-13. Again, this could be a quicker episode, guys. I'm sorry. This is just me by myself. We're rolling though. We're rolling. We're doing things over here at Swiss Army Sports. The Panic Meter. That's back for week 8. By myself. So for those watching on YouTube, ignore the Luke face. Again, the Panic Meter sits on a scale of 1 to 5 on how panicked we are about your team losing. We Gucci being 5 out of 5, we're good. Calm down, we good, 4 out of 5. I don't feel good about this, 3 out of 5. It's almost hit the fan, 2 out of 5, and 1 out of 5 is panic. As we get into the Panic Meter of week 8, Ole Miss losing to Georgia on the road. I don't feel good about this for the Rebels. And I felt like this is their true first test for Ole Miss, going on the road into Georgia. Again, I mean, did I expect them to win the game? No, I don't think Ole Miss is that legit. But in terms of playoff contention, I mean, yeah, this is panic. Or not panic. Not feeling good about this. Because they got to go on the road to Oklahoma next week. 11 a.m. kickoff. I don't know if they can get it done in that game. I think Oklahoma's looking, they looked fine this weekend. I think Mateer's getting healthy, and I think this Oklahoma team's going to be able to keep Trinidad Chambliss at bay and get a win, and all of a sudden you're sitting at 2 losses. You've got to win out, and I still think that Egg Bowl's a tricky spot. Tricky spot for the Ole Miss Rebels. Hell, even Florida's a tricky spot. This Florida team has shown they can win football games without Billy Napier there. They may have a little bit of a bump. Maybe could try to fight for their interim head coach and get bowl eligible. I don't know. We will see a lot yet to be proven about Ole Miss. Sorry, I skipped a slide there. I accidentally hit it. So I don't feel good about this for the Rebs. As we head on to Miami, calm down, we good. Carson Beck just had the worst night of his Miami career, 4 interceptions. You still only lost by 3 to a really good Louisville team. I think Louisville's a solid football program. They only have 1 loss. Now, this does make it a little shaky for the ACC title, pictures. You're now sitting 1-1, but 4 interceptions you can't lose at home to Louisville, who was unranked at the time. But 4 interceptions, you only lost by 3, 24-21. Your defense has shown they are elite, only giving up 24 points on 4 interceptions. Calm down, we good, Miami. There is nothing to panic about quite yet. Texas Tech, again, calm down, we good. Look, you went on the road and played Arizona State, who has shown they are a solid football team this year, okay? You had your backup quarterback. I don't think this is anything to panic about for Texas Tech. This team can score. They didn't this week. Again, you can cite the backup quarterback being in, but on the road, Arizona State, solid team, 26-22 loss. I would not panic yet. Look, here's the rest of your schedule. Oklahoma State at Kansas State versus BYU versus UCF at West Virginia. BYU is the only real test left here. All right. And I believe it's at home. Quarterback's going to be healthy. You're going to get it done for BYU against BYU. And I think Texas Tech should be sitting at a pretty 11-1 heading into the Big 12 Conference Championship game. Don't be worried, Tech fans. Calm down. We good. Memphis. I'll blow it. 31-24 loss on the road to UAB in the Battle of the Bones. Are you kidding me? You can't do this. You can't do this if you're Memphis. You have your fans screaming that you are pretty much a shoo-in to be in the playoffs. You're begging for College game day to come next week against USF because you've already written it off. You've already got the win against UAB. No, you don't. You go on the road and choke against the Birmingham Blazers. Are you serious, Memphis? This is why no one takes you seriously as a football program. This is why the Big 12 didn't even, allow you in after you tried to buy your way in. Full-blown panic for Memphis. They lose next week to USF, and I think they probably drop Tulane and, hell, maybe even East Carolina or Navy. This is a 9-3 team right now at its ceiling, in my opinion, especially after losing Brendan Lewis at quarterback. Panic for the Tigers. You just can't do it. UAB is one of the worst teams in football this year. They gave up 42 points to Alabama State. You're telling me you couldn't score more than 24? Piss poor from the Tigers. The Vols. You've got 2 losses now, Tennessee, and that is why you were sitting on it's almost hit the fan for me on the panic meter. Look, I understand this is a tough task on the road against a really good rolling Alabama team, but now you've dropped your 2 big games. You've got wins versus Syracuse, ETSU, UAB again. Hey, at least you can beat UAB. Mississippi State in overtime, and Arkansas by 3. You've lost your 2 ranked tests to Georgia and Alabama. Yeah, you've got Kentucky next week. You should bounce back. But then you got Oklahoma, Florida, and Vanderbilt rounding out your SEC schedule after that. Disregard to Mexico State. I don't know if Tennessee can even get to 9-3, maybe looking more like 8-4. It's almost hit the fan for Tennessee. I've just got to see a little – because I have been – I'll give him his dues. I've been impressed with Joey Aguilar this year. I think Brazel at the outside on the receiving end has been elite, and I think Tennessee's offense is elite. I just don't know if their defense is going to do enough to keep them winning these big ranked matchups. And if you're not going to do that, you're not going to make the SEC title game, and I definitely don't think they make it now. You're not going to make the playoff. You're not going to make the playoff at 9-3 as Tennessee losing these ranked matchups. I mean, hell, your biggest win of the year right now is Mississippi State in overtime. Get out of here. Tennessee, it's almost hit the fan. All right, time for Dogs of the Week, a.k.a. just Dog of the Week because it's me today. Look, Ryder Burton, dude, first career start, transferred in from West Virginia, quarterback for the UAB Blazers, a sophomore. 20 for 27, 251 yards, and 3 tutties against a undefeated ranked Memphis team in a rivalry game. Ryder Burton, show up, brother. I mean, this is unbelievable. You made this Memphis team. I had Memphis fans telling me you looked like Joe Montana. That is, 1, embarrassing for Memphis, but 2, credit to you, my guy. You balled out this week, and that's why you are my Dog of the Week. All right, y'all. The coaching carousel has begun. We've already had multiple, in the 10s now, 10-plus coaching firings in the FBS this year. I'm covering 4. As you can see on your screen, if you're watching on YouTube, Arkansas, Penn State, Florida, and Virginia Tech. Who I think is going to fill the slot for Arkansas is John Gruden. Look, John Gruden fits Arkansas. He has voiced his willingness or wanting to coach in the SEC. Now that narrows it down to Arkansas and Florida. I think John Gruden is a sought-after hire in this coaching carousel cycle. 1, the dude knows ball. 2, we've kind of gotten past the scandalous things in the past. He wants to coach in the SEC. I think Arkansas would be a really good fit for him. I think he can win in Arkansas. I think Arkansas is desperate for a coach that really jumps off, the paper, says, hey, we can get excited now about Arkansas football here in Fayetteville. And I think John Gruden's a perfect fit, perfect personality for Arkansas. He is going to be the kind of gritty football coach the Hogs need. And I would love to see him in Arkansas. And that's who I think they're going to get. For Penn State, Matt Rule just makes too much sense. He went there. His kids went there. He, isn't having the success he wanted to at Nebraska. And I think it's hard to do at Nebraska in, the 21st century. I mean, they were a powerhouse in the 20th century, but I mean, this is the 21st century. So I think Matt Rule is going to kind of take a step up his coaching ladder here, and at least collegiately. I know he went to the NFL, but I think he's going to take a step up here and go to Penn State and probably go 9-3 and 10-2, just like James Franklin did. I think the James Franklin firing was nonsense. I don't think Penn State understands exactly who they are. Like, you're not Ohio State. You're not Oregon. I understand Indiana's kind of showing like what you could be. You could win big games, but you're just not that program. You're in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania. I understand you have one great home whiteout game a year, but it's just not exactly like the go-to place if you're a big recruit. Ooh, let me go to cold, middle of nowhere Pennsylvania. Happy Valley? But Matt Rule, I think, will do a good job there. I mean, it's a place that's near and dear to his heart, and I think he would, build Penn State into a winning program just like James Franklin did. Essentially just maintain it into being a winning program. For Florida, I think you stay in state with a G5 hire and go Alex Golesh. I mean, you see what he's done at USF. I think this would be a home run hire for Florida. I think this is exactly what Florida has been looking for in their past few coaching searches. Alex Golesh has built an incredible program at USF. The offense is firing on all cylinders. Defense looks elite. If you give him DJ Lagway and an SEC defense, Alex Golesh will have this Florida team going 9-3 plus every year, and that is what the fans in Gainesville so desperately need. He's an elite recruiter, able to get good players at USF, a G5 program that plays in, an NFL stadium that wasn't even, half full for the past 10 years, and now it is bumping because USF is rolling. I think Florida would get a home run hire with Alex Golesh at the helm. And for Virginia Tech, I understand he lost to UAB this weekend, but Ryan Silverfield. And I think the reason why Ryan Silverfield now would take a job like Virginia Tech is you lost to UAB. I think you've done all you can do at Memphis if you're Ryan Silverfield. You've got to ride the wave while you're high before you come crashing back down. Go take your Power 5 job. Go to Virginia Tech. Try to build a winning program at Blacksburg. I understand it fell in their face with Justin Fuente. I think Ryan Silverfield is twice the coach Fuente is. I think Ryan Silverfield has really built this Memphis program and know what we know for it to be today. And that's why I think Ryan Silverfield would be a great fit at Virginia Tech, a team with great tradition, great culture, inner Sandman, great home atmosphere. It could really be competitive in the ACC with a really good head coach at the helm. So I would love to see Ryan Silverfield at Virginia Tech, and that is my 4 picks for the coaching carousel after Week 8. The Swiss Army Sports Top 25 for Week 9. With some interesting ballots today from the 3 of us. We were all, though, in agreement for the top 5. Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Bama at 3, A&M at 4, Georgia at 5. We have Oregon at 6, Oklahoma at 7, Georgia Tech, welcome to the top 10 at 8, Miami falling all the way from 2 to 9, and Vandy rounding out the top 10 at number 10. Here's what I started to disagree with my colleagues. Ole Miss at 11, I had them down a little bit lower. BYU at 12 is a good spot. Not exactly a marquee win yet for BYU other than Utah. Texas Tech falling to 13. I think that's about right, although I probably would have had them more at the 12 spot, BYU at the 11. Notre Dame up to 14 with 2 losses. Now, here's the thing. Can they do enough to impress and get themselves back into the playoff title? I mean, there is no room for error for Notre Dame. They got to start blowing teams out. USF back in the top 15 now. Keep it rolling for the Bulls. Obviously, the number 1 G5 contender for the playoff right now. Tennessee falls to 16. I had them down a little bit further myself, as I have Missouri a little bit higher, as the colleagues and me average out to have them at 17. LSU at 18, Virginia at 19. We keep Cincinnati at 20. Welcome to the poll for the first time this year. Louisville sitting at 21. Arizona State finds their way back into our poll at 22. Texas at 23. Actually falls a spot after winning in overtime to Kentucky. Michigan at 24. And Tulane, welcome to the poll at 25. And receiving votes from both me and the producer at 25 was Northwestern. So they get 2 points and are receiving votes category here on the Week 9 Swiss Army Sports Top 25. So that segues me into our Week 9 playoff picture. Now, it is not like previous years where the top 4, conference winners get a bye. It is by ranking, but the top 5 conference winners get an auto bid. So we have Ohio State at number 1, Indiana 2, Bama 3, and A&M 4 with the buys. Here's where the matchups kind of get a little interesting and cool. Georgia, the 5 seed, taking on number 12, USF. I do think the Dogs will probably be able to handle USF in that one. Oregon, the 6 seed, hosting the 11 seeded BYU Cougars. I would have to take the Ducks there. Oklahoma hosting number 10 Vanderbilt 7-10 matchup. I'd have the Doors on the road. I mean, come on, y'all know I'm big on Vandy, and I think Vandy's an elite program that could get a playoff win. And number 8 Georgia Tech hosting number 9 Miami in a conference matchup. Miami handles Georgia Tech. I'm not that impressed with Georgia Tech so far, but they are undefeated and they're getting the job done. So that is our Swiss Army Sports Week 9 playoff picture. Week 7 NFL picks. Oh, wow, what a week in the NFL as the Bengals and Joe Flacco on Thursday Night Football. The producer was right. He got us. Me and Luke had the Steelers. The producer had the Bengals, and the Bengals did win with Joe Flacco on a Thursday night in London this morning. We all three had the Rams, and they steamrolled the Jaguars in essentially a Jaguars home game in London as they play there so much every year. The Eagles get the offense back rolling as me and the producer predicted against the Vikings on the road. Luke had the Vikings. We all three had the Bears beating the Saints, and they did just that. Caleb Williams able to get the job done pretty handily against Spencer Rattler and the Saints. The producer and Luke had the Browns beating the Dolphins, and boy, were they right. I don't know why the hell I took the Dolphins with the way Tua Tagovailoa is playing. He looks atrocious. There's some terrible interceptions as the Browns and Quinshaw Junkins had a huge game. They steamrolled the Dolphins at home in a really wet, sloppy environment. The Patriots, as all three of us predicted, steamrolled the Titans on the road, as did we with the Chiefs against the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes and that offense with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Pacheco looking at playoff form against the Raiders as they steamrolled them at home. We all had the Panthers beating the Jets, and they did just that in a very sloppy, mediocre game, 13-3. We all three had the Broncos against the Giants. And now, what a game this was. The Giants up 19-0 heading into the fourth quarter. It is the fourth quarter. Holy smokes, what a game, guys. What a game. I mean, you can't make it up. The Broncos go on to win this football game, scoring 33 points to New York's 13 in the final period, 33-32 on a walk-off field goal for the Denver Broncos. We all three had that one correct, and it was quite exhilarating game to watch. The Colts continued their dominance on the road against the LA Chargers. And the producer had the Chargers there, his first loss on the week in terms of the picks. Me and Luke had the Colts, and we all three had the boys. Holla, we them boys. Holla, we them boys. Defense looked all right today. I know we took Jaden Daniels out, 44-22 win for the Cowboys. Offense continuing to look elite. If it gets a decent Commanders defense, Commanders just not what everybody thought they were going to be this year. But the boys get back on track, 3-3-1. The Packers win a gritty one on the road against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. I knew this was kind of a trap game. I don't think this Packers team is as good as their record shows. I think this Packers team has a lot of faults, especially on offense, and I think it would show today, but they were able to get the job done on the road against Arizona. Sunday Night Football going on right now between the Falcons and the Niners, and then tomorrow night we got the Bucs, Lions, and Texans, Seahawks. So, for the NFL teams of the week and teams that are weak, look, any team that scores 33 points to overcome a 19-point deficit in the fourth quarter, you're going to be my team of the week. Shout out Bo Nix, dude. You've won 4 games in a row now for the Broncos. You know, I was trash you pretty early on, and you played pretty terrible for the first 3 quarters of this game. You were able to get it back going, partially due to just, the Giants being the Giants. But shout out you, Denver Broncos. You're my team of the week, and now you're weak. If you're going to get blown out by the Browns with their 2 ugly interceptions, you're going to be my now you're weak. The Miami Dolphins are in shambles, dude. And I do not think it's Coach Mike McDaniel's fault. I think it is purely at quarterback. They need to move on from Tua. Tua probably needs to retire from the NFL, and it's tough sledding right now in Miami as they fall to a nasty 1-6. So that is it for the NFL teams of the week and teams that are weak. Power rankings for the first time on Swiss Army Sports. I'm giving you my top 5, and I'll go from 5 to 1 of my NFL power rankings. Number 5. The New England Patriots. Boy, does this Patriots team and Drake May look good. They are sitting at 5-2. Win over the Bills really put them on my radar for me. Now they're just handling business. Sitting at 5-2. Defense looks good. Shout out to Del Pettis. Just Drake May, Keyshawn Booty, Austin Hooper, Stephon Diggs. I mean, the backfield with Ramondre and Travion. I mean, it's an unbelievable team. I think Mike Vrabel was a great head coaching hire for this this New England team, and I think he has this team rolling. So they're sitting at number 5. At number 4, sitting at 4-3. I know, but I mean, I think we all see it, and we all see it coming. The Kansas City Chiefs, guys. I mean, they're back. The offense is at a full-fledged powerhouse. Defense starting to step up, starting to play complimentary football. Patrick Mahomes looking like he's Patrick Mahomes again. And boy, after starting rough starts to the season for the Chiefs, they have stuff rolling. And the Chiefs are my number 4 on my power rankings. Number 3, although they haven't played this week yet, so tentative. But I've got the Buccaneers. Baker, Emeka Buka. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashad White, Bucky Irving on the defensive side, Vita Vea anchoring that defensive line. This Buccaneers team is legit. They are definitely going to win the NFC South. They could be the ones in the NFC the way they're playing right now. This Bucs team just knows how to win. They know how to win against good teams. And I'm really impressed with this Tampa Bay team, so that's why they're sitting at 3. Slightly ahead of them because they've already played this week and because they're loaded. At number 2 is the LA Rams. Defense looks solid, but really that offense is just something to drool over. Matthew Stafford at quarterback. I mean, you've got Kyron Williams at running back. You've got Blake Corum. You've got Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Higbee. I mean, this LA team should be able to score at will against just about any defense, and they have really kept it going, sitting at 5-2. And then obviously number 1, guys, are the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, who would have thought the Colts would be this elite coming into the year? They're sitting at 6-1. Daniel Jones looks like prime Tom Brady. They are scoring at will against defenses. You never expected them to punt. Jonathan Taylor looks like Saquon last year. This is a completely revitalized Colts team that looks to be the number 1 team in the NFL. And right now, if I had to choose someone to win the Super Bowl, it's going to be the Indianapolis Colts. They play so well complementary. The defense feeds into the offense feeds into the defense. Hell, special teams don't even really have to be used for Indianapolis, and I am so impressed with this Colts team. That's why they are sitting at the top of my NFL power rankings following the Week 7 games. Da 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 do 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 do. Da 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 boom boom boom. Da 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 da. Yeah, I keep a tradition over here, even if I'm flying solo. Monday Night Football tomorrow, doubleheader. Ugh, I hate it, especially with the 9 o'clock kickoff Central Time. But the Buccaneers are heading to Detroit to play the Lions, and the Texans are heading to Seattle to play the Seahawks. And I've got some best bets for you. I love Mike Evans, 6+ receptions. Banged up a little bit, but so is Ibuka. Baker's got to throw to somebody. He is going to throw it. He's going to throw it well. And I've got him for 6+ receptions, a +125. I think Mike Evans is able to haul in 6 catches and get you on the plus side of things, on the plus money. Then I love the Seahawks -3.5. I'm still not big on this Texans team. I think there's way too many holes on the offensive line. The defense is just okay. Seattle has impressed me greatly so far this year. And I'm kind of, thinking the Seahawks win by 10+. So I am definitely comfortably sitting with them at -3.5. And those are our Monday Night Football best bets. UFC Fight Night in Vancouver. It was a good card, but boy, was it tough for our picks. Nelson versus Frevola. Nelson got the win by decision. I had that right. Luke missed on Frevola. We both missed on Gibson against Aurikling or whatever the hell his name is. He knocked him out in like 12 seconds. It was incredible. Barreau got the knockout against Jezza Vicious as I anticipated, and we both got that one correct. Zahabi, man, Marlon Vera had him knocked out but did not go for the finish. Zahabi gets the win. Luke had that one correct. I had it wrong. Holland versus Malott, excuse me. I had Malott, and he got kicked Holland in the balls there, but was able to get the victory. Luke had Holland, so we both went 3 for 3, and RDR quit on me. He quit on me on the stool. An embarrassing loss for Reiner de Ritter as Brandon Allen gets the win for the Canadians, sitting at number 9. He's going to move up, and RDR has just lost the entire respect of the MMA community after a fight night quit against Allen. And that concludes our wrap-up on UFC Fight Night. As we move into the MLB talk, the Dodgers prove money can buy you championships. They are sitting pretty, and they're in the World Series. They face the winner of the Blue Jays and the Mariners. The Mariners up 3-2 in the series, but the Blue Jays in the top of the 4th are up 4-0 right now, looking us into a Game 7. Game 7s are great for sports. I would love to see a Game 7. If it goes to Game 7, I think Toronto wins it. If it does not, Well, I mean, obviously it does not. Seattle wins. So, I mean, look, as of right now, I think we're gonna get a Toronto Blue Jays LA Dodgers World Series, and I think LA wins that one in 5, which will be very anticlimactic. Um, Start time about time to start talking about a salary cap in baseball. That is for sure. All right. I mean, I'm keeping it under 40 minutes today. It is just me. Um, Best things that happened this weekend. Troy 5-2. I'm so proud of my Trojans. We started off the season pretty rough, 1-2, barely beat Nickel State. Lost to Clemson in a heartbreaker. Lost to Memphis getting goose knocked out. But boy, has Tucker figured it out. Has Jared Parker got these boys rolling. So proud of Troy. They beat UO Monroe 37-14. Sitting at 5-2 now, top of the Sun Belt West. Hype for the Trojans. We're a powerhouse football program, and we are reintroducing ourselves to the national stage as such. The battle for the bones. Y'all know I'm a Memphis football hater. Love Memphis basketball, don't get me wrong, but I hate the Tiger football team, and love seeing them get a loss to UAB in the battle for the bones. And it's just a comical fashion for Memphis to essentially end their playoff hopes. They're going to have to run the table, and even if then, is that going to be enough? Maybe. We'll see. But battle for the bones, number 2 on my best things that happened this week. And then third, how about them Cowboys? We are rolling, guys. 44-22 win against the Commanders. Love seeing it. Anytime the Cowboys win on a Sunday, I'm going to be in a good mood. And I am in love with this Cowboys offense. They can just score at will. And I am excited to be a Cowboys fan again. I'm sure it'll change again next week. But that does it for us. Well, for me, here on episode 15 of Swiss Army Sports. If you enjoyed listening to me ramble for 36 minutes, I appreciate it. I try to give you all something to, take with you, and, soak in about the world of sports, trying to dispense my useless sports knowledge. I will say, shout out Chase Briscoe, clinching a playoff spot in the Talladega 500 today. Very exciting race. We got to start covering more NASCAR. That's on me, guys. But yeah, that is it. Until we record on Wednesday, the episode will be out on Thursday for week 8 of the NFL and week 9 of college football. It's been Will Spain. Have a good night.